Hi, I'm Ryan O'Reilly here with Chris and John. We're here for In Your Face for SBC Boston. We're going to jump right into the first topic. So, Chris, how do you think the Patriots are going to do in the first 4 games without Tom Brady?
I think they'll do very well. I don't think they'll get off to a great start at the beginning of the year. They have a tough opponent at the Cardinals, and that'll be Jimmy Garoppolo's first game that he's starting of importance, not his first start ever. But I think after that, they'll get on the right track. They'll have 3 home games in a row against 3 mediocre teams in the Texans, Bills, and Dolphins. And the Patriots loaded up with a lot of weapons, especially on the defensive side of the ball, in the offseason to help that front 7. And I think they're going to have enough to get through those last 3 games before Brady comes back, and they're going to go 3-1.
John?
Well, I have to completely disagree with you, Chris. I think they go 1-3 or 2-2. I think we both agree that they will lose at Arizona. There's no much question about that. Miami, I'll give you a win there. Miami has taken a turn for the worse. But when you go to Buffalo, when you play at home against Buffalo and Houston, what I look at, Jimmy Garoppolo's 2 starting wide receivers are starting on the PUP list. So he's not getting reps with them right now when he needs to be at training camp and most likely for the preseason. And when you're playing defenses of these, I think we both can agree that the Texans and the Bills defenses are above average. And Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't seen these kind of defenses before and it won't be prepared for these. And J.J. Watt will be back for these games, and he will be wreaking havoc. And they are one of the most improved teams in the NFL this year with signing players like Lamar Miller and Brock Osweiler, finally having a quarterback for the first time in their franchise history. And also the Buffalo Bills, whose defense is one of the most underrated defenses in the league, has a nasty front 4 up front. And also Tyrod Taylor's coming back from injury, and he is a very good dual threat quarterback that I don't think the Patriots' front 4 are ready for.
Number one, J.J. Watt, I'm not sure he's going to be at 100%. He had surgery in the offseason. I don't think you can say for sure how he'll do. Also, I do think that we're overrating Brock Osweiler here. Did he really prove himself to be a top-tier starting quarterback in Denver? No. And the Bills, yes, their defense is very strong, but, Jimmy Garoppolo is a running quarterback, which I think people don't realize. Not a Robert Griffin kind of running quarterback, but he can move. And it's not going to be the same kind of game. And I think I think they play the Bills in week 4. Is that right?
Yeah.
So by then he'll have his feet wet. He'll know his game a little bit better, and I think he'll be prepared. Better than you're giving him credit for. And I think he'll have immersed himself in the offense, and they'll do good enough to win.
Yeah, but I could use the same argument against that because Jimmy Garoppolo, they don't really have a lot of tape on him right now in the NFL. He's been playing a lot of garbage time when he has played, and now that they'll have 2 and 3 games under their belt against the Buffalo Bills, they can see his tendencies, what he likes to do when he's in the pocket scrambling, and that front 4 can adapt very quickly with Marcel Darius, Kyle Williams, and Jerry Hughes all up there, and I don't think it's a good game for him.
All right, that's going to end it. We're going to move on to the next topic. So the Pacers, they were involved in a 3-team trade with the Hawks and the Jazz, picking up point guard Jeff Teague as well as a few other moves. So, John, how do you think the Pacers will fit into the East seeding this year?
I love the Pacers this year. They're my dark horse team to come out of the East. Obviously, I think the Cavs will, but if there was another team I were to pick, it would be the Indiana Pacers right now. If you just look at the starting lineup right now, you have an all-star point guard and much upgrade in Jeff Teague. In shooting guard, you still have a mass scorer in Monte Ellis. You have an all-star small forward in Paul George. At power forward, you just traded for Thaddeus Young, a well-proven rebounding and scoring. And at center, you have options in either Al Jefferson or Miles Turner. And plus, they are still a very, very deep team. They'll have either Miles Turner or Al Jefferson coming off the bench. They'll have C.J. Miles coming off the bench still. LaVoy Allen will still be coming off the bench. Ty Lawson is still coming off the bench. That's 4 bench players right there that are capable starters in the NBA also. I think this team can go deep this year.
I don't disagree with what you're saying about the Pacers, but I don't think you're accounting for their competition. The East got way stronger in the offseason. Several teams added key pieces or are gonna get better. And I don't think the Pacers. I mean, yes, they added Jeff Teague, but other than that, it's really lightweight additions compared to what the likes of the Knicks and the Celtics did in getting Horford, and the Knicks getting guys like Rose and Joakim Noah. I don't think the Pacers are going to improve much over their 7th seed. I think they'll end up somewhere in the 5 or 6 seed in the East.
With your argument with the New York Knicks, they have an aging Joakim Noah coming off an ACL injury, a point guard that is injury riddled in Derrick Rose. You brought in Courtney Lee, who is a 3-and-D player. You have Carmelo Anthony, who all he can do now is score and is now aging. And you have an up-and-coming star in Kristaps Porzingis. Those all players right now, you cannot sit here and guarantee with certainty that Joakim Noah and Derrick Rose can play the full season out and play the whole 82 games. I don't see how they think you can say that they will be better than the Indiana Pacers right now. And then their bench, can you name 2 or 3 players on their bench is so weak.
They have Grant there.
Grant got traded to the Bulls.
It's in the Bulls?
Yeah.
All right.
That's who they got.
I don't know.
For Derrick Rose. They don't really have any bench right now.
Doug McDermott.
Doug McDermott's still on the Bulls.
Oh, I thought you were talking. All right, never mind.
The depth of the New York Knicks and the uncertainty of the New York Knicks right now, I can say they're a playoff team, but I cannot say they are better than the Indiana Pacers right now.
All right, and that's going to wrap it up for us on SBC Boston for In Your Face. I'm Ryan with Chris and John. Good night.